Guess who comes back more tired after vacation than they were before they had gone? Me. I am just, oh my goodness, I could just rest all day, but I have things to do, so I can't. But I wanted to share some crazy things that's been happening, and I've been trying to make sense of some of them, and I probably won't. But let's fast forward, nope, rewind back to last week before I had gone on vacation. I went to a support group for people who go through cancer. So it's for women who are going through cancer or is going through cancer at that time. So it was a small, intimate amount of people, maybe 15. So we went around the room introducing ourselves, and there were three sets of two. So three sets of two people who shared the same name. So there was two Andreas, there was two Michelles, there was two Tracys. Now that's not the true names, but I mean not that you would ever know who these people are, but I just am not going to give their real names. But nonetheless, that's kind of odd, right? Out of this small group of 15, six of us had someone who shared our name. But what made it crazy for real is the fact that we unknowingly sat next to the person who shared our name. So I was sitting next to the other Andrea. Michelle was sitting next to the other Michelle. Tracy was sitting next to the other Tracy. Crazy, right? And I don't know what that means or what that is, but I just thought it was crazy. But I had a lot of these things happening. I'll just share a few of them that has come up in these last few days. So when I was going to Puerto Vallarta for vacation, I had to go through Chicago. So I went from Cleveland to Chicago, Chicago down to Mexico. So on my Cleveland flight, I sat next to this lady who was from Bath Township, which is outside of Akron, Ohio. So we're just sitting there talking, having a great time. I sold her my book. I possibly got some speaking engagements at her church and her daughter's school. She goes to a Jesuit school down that way. And we were just having a wonderful conversation. And she was separated from her daughter because her daughter was sitting with her husband up closer to the front of the plane. And so we talked about her daughter because her daughter is thinking about becoming an engineer. And she asked me about that. And we're just having this wonderful conversation. And so I was like, well, where are you all going? Where are you headed? She was like, we're going to Puerto Vallarta. And I'm like, I'm going to Puerto Vallarta. Like, what's the odds that we're both on this flight from Cleveland to Chicago, then going down to Mexico together? Like, kind of crazy, but okay, I'll take it. But then there was a time where I was sitting on the beach and I was just enjoying the waves and I thought of someone. And no sooner did I think of this person did I receive a text from them. And I was like, okay. But the kicker was last night. So I'm coming back home. And so I went down to Mexico with a friend of mine. So we live in different cities. And so we took the flight from Mexico to Atlanta together. And so, that made sense. We were coming from the same place, flying to Atlanta. And then we were breaking off, going to our own destination. So me headed back to Cleveland. So my flight was at 9:06. And so my friend was like, okay, well, I need to go because my flight's going to be starting soon. I mean, boarding soon. I think it leaves at 9:06. And I was like, no, I think you got it confused because that's mine. Like, you probably got your itinerary confused with my itinerary. So they were like, okay, let me look and see. And lo and behold, their flight left at 9:06 too. Like, both of our flights left, going to different destinations at the same time at 9:06. I mean, like, what's the chances for that happening? I mean, kind of crazy. But what I will say is that I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of training dealing with the laws of the universe. And I think because of that, that I'm seeing things a little differently. Now, mind you, that group of three with two people sitting next to each other with the same name, I mean, I couldn't have, only God could have orchestrated that, right? I still don't know what that means, but I know that now I pay attention to that type of stuff because I am trying to learn more about the different universal laws that exist for us. But isn't that weird or crazy or strange or different? Like, what do you all have? Mind you, all I know is with that number, 9:06, and our boarding time was the same too. I think it was 8:26. I probably need to play that, right? Because that's just weird. But I just wanted to share that with you because I know you all have had those experiences, especially the one where you think about someone and then they call you up and you're like, hey, I know your ears must be burning because I was just talking about you, or I was just thinking about you. But like, really? Like for it to just continuously happen all over the last 4 days, and I've just been seeing this stuff, and I'm like, what in the world is this? But I just wanted to share that with you. And I think one of the reasons is because um, it is a lot, it is universal that energy begets energy, right? And if you have positive energy, then it begets positive energy. If you have negative energy, it begets negative energy. And I'm just throwing this in here as just a lesson because I figure I should give something out of this. But it's one of those things that this is why it's important to stay and focus on positivity. Because once you go negative, that's where your energy is going to go, and that's what it's going to become. And I know we've all been in those situations before where you're going through life, you're having a good day, and then you get a cashier who has an attitude and they slam your money into your hand as they're giving you your change back, and you're like, what? And then it's like their negative energy just jumped on you, and you're like, I don't want that, but it's like you have to be aware so that you don't let someone else's bad energy, or even if they come into the room and you're like all happy and cheery and they come in all sad and despondent, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like going to their place, and you're like, no. So you have to be aware of the energy that you surround yourself with. There was a lady that I met, and she was talking about how all her family members are negative, and this is why she keeps things to herself, especially serious matters that's going on with her life that she doesn't share because they are negative people. And I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe you need new people to hang around. Like, I could tell even before she began to speak to me that she was somewhat negative just by the things that she said. It just wasn't good stuff to be saying, especially to people who are strangers. But I'm thinking that the negativity that she surrounds herself with is who she is. And so she needs to either separate herself or at least acknowledge or become self aware and know that she is part of who she is, and probably unknowingly, right? But I just shared that with you today because I really am trying to make sense of what has been going on and how I am actually making, or I don't know, I guess I shouldn't say making, I guess I should say listening more to the universe. And I guess somewhat willing things to happen. And I guess that is kind of making it, right? I mean, I've been doing a lot of the law of attraction, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. For instance, with my vision board back there in the background, like I have those things there to visualize, to say this is what I want, right? But it's not even enough just to take some magazine pictures and post them on the board. Like you actually have to see yourself in it. You have to feel it. You have to taste it. You have to embrace it for it actually to be attracted. So it's not enough to just say, this is what I want. Like, I want that house where I can watch sunsets every day. Like, I need to be in that house. I need to feel the sand underneath my feet. I need to see the sun setting, right? So that's how it works. But it is about attracting the things that you want. And some people are very good at this. It's something that I have practiced, and I have been very intentional about. But I do know that is how I had my conversation with Oprah. Like, it was something that I attracted into my life. But I just wanted to share that with you. Really, I wanted to tell you what was going on, and I just figured I'd just sprinkle in some kind of lesson for you to get through from it. But anyway, have a wonderful rest of the day. I am grateful. As I said, this is 7 years of being breast cancer free, and I will, you know, continue to celebrate and be grateful for the life that I have. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.